Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. Really appreciate everybody making the time this morning to go through Amplifund Award Management for your award that you've received from the Nebraska Department of Economic Development. I will mention that this session today is being recorded and it will be posted on the Nebraska DED website for reference purposes. I'll also go over some other resources and materials that you'll have for your reference as well. So I will mention just a few things as we get started with the agenda today. I do want to go through and I have a slide that talks a little bit about some of the resources that you'll have to utilize as you're managing your award, either from DED or from Amplifund. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of where you can find that. And then I want to talk about some of the actions that you'll be completing to manage your award in Amplifund as well. So we're going to go over some of the basics. I'll show you where you can locate your award, how you can add other users, and how you can access support within the system. The first part of today's session is going to be a couple of slides that walk us through the topics, and then I'm going to be logging into Amplifund and I'll be sharing my screen as we go through an example of all of the actions that you can complete in the system. We will have time for questions at the end. I'll also encourage you to ask any questions throughout the presentation today. You can utilize the chat feature that's available in Zoom. And if you have any program specific questions, your DED program representatives are on and they can answer program specific questions either via chat or if it's something that they can take offline. Also, please feel free to submit any Amplifund related questions as we're going through the product and as we're going through the demonstration. If you have any questions or need me to clarify anything, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or provide additional clarification. All right, so getting started, I did want to mention a number of resources that are going to be available to you depending on the type of award that you have from Nebraska DED. So you'll be able to access the opportunity.nebraska.gov webpage /Amplifund for Nebraska DED specific resources in terms of how to perform specific actions in the system, how to manage your award. There's a lot of great materials that are out there, including step-by-step guides and videos. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone's aware of that opportunity.nebraska.gov /Amplifund. In addition to the recording, you'll also have this PowerPoint presentation provided to you as part of the follow-up. So you'll be able to leverage these links that are provided directly in the PowerPoint presentation. And we're going to go through and we're going to look at that web page and we'll kind of walk through where you can find that support material. In terms of what we're going to be looking at today, everyone that's on the session today has an award in the system in Amplifund. So it's important to kind of start to go through some of the functionality and some of the things that you'll be able to complete on your award within the system. So here is a list of some of the basic actions we'll be looking at today. Logging in is very important, and I wanted to draw everyone's attention to the ability to access your Amplifund account by going to ne.amplifund.com. If you're an existing user, then you'll be able to go and type in your existing username and password. If you've forgotten your password, there's a forgot password option there. And then you'll be able to go in and log into your Amplifund account and view your awards. Now, I will mention that that for some of us, the awards are still being put into the system. So you may not have an award to manage just yet, but by the beginning of June, you will have an award and you'll receive an email invitation from Amplifund when that award is available to you. So once you're able to log in and get into the system, you'll be able to identify and add any other users that are available or that need to be added to your organization. So once you're in your Amplifund account, if you identify anyone else internally that you want to be a part of your Amplifund account that needs to manage your awards or your grants, then we're going to show you how to add those users and how to make sure that those people are invited into the system. You'll also be able to view and edit some key details on your award, including some additional tools like where you can upload documents and where you can view any tasks that you may have as well. One of the things that you'll be able to do, and that we'll be asking you to do as well on your award, is to identify who the grant manager is. So once you have some users in your account and once you access your award, you'll be able to indicate who in fact is that grant manager on the award and what permissions and what expectations come with somebody in the grant manager role. There is also a form to complete for your ACH and W-9. This should be completed only if your information has changed since the last time that it was submitted, but I'll still show you where you can access it so that you can find it and make any updates to it if necessary. And then I also want to make sure that everyone's aware of the support options that are available, not only just on the opportunity.nebraska.gov website, but also within Amplifund itself. There are going to be some support tools that you can leverage in terms of getting help in managing your grants. One thing that we're going to talk about when we first log into Amplifund is some of the basic navigation when you get in there. So when you first log in, this is what your screen is going to look like. It's going to have a big calendar page on it, and you're going to have three main pieces of navigation, right? Three primary areas that you're going to be utilizing in terms of managing your award. So the first and the probably most important piece of navigation is going to be your left navigation menu, which is pretty much going to be pinned to your page. So whatever area you need to access throughout Amplifund, throughout your Amplifund experience, you'll be able to access it by this left navigation menu. You'll have a user drop-down menu, which is specific to your own username. This is where you'll find the ability to edit your own personal details, change your password, securely log out, really user-specific information that's in number 2 here in that user navigation. And then the icon toolbar will also display on every page. However, the icons or the actions that are available there may vary depending on the page that you're on. So I'll be sure to highlight all pieces of this navigation here as we're going through the presentation today and as we jump into Amplifund. And that is actually where we are going to go next. So I'm going to switch my screen and get us logged into Amplifund. As I'm transitioning over into the in-product portion, I do want to draw everyone's attention to the URL that's displaying on your screen, ne.amplifund.com. Again, this is going to be the place where you'll be able to log in and view your own organizations and your Amplifund account. We always recommend that, just for the purpose of maintaining and being able to access your Amplifund account easily, it's always nice to just bookmark the URL so that you have access to it at any point. So the first thing that I want to do as we jump into the in-product demonstration and the in-product portion of today's session is, before we even look at Amplifund, I just want to make sure that we're emphasizing and that we're focusing on the support resources that are available to you, provided on the opportunity.nebraska.gov website. So if you go to opportunity.nebraska.gov/Amplifund, then you'll find a help page here with a lot of different resources for managing your award. And as you scroll down through the page, you'll see that a lot of the different programs are represented here. So if you are a BIA award recipient, you'll be able to easily access your BIA tools. For award management, you can click on the award management tab, and then there's a lot of really good training videos and step-by-step documents that are available here for your review as well. So when you're looking at it, you can also expect to see our training webinar get posted after the fact, so that if you need to, if you want to provide this session to either somebody that's not available to be here today, or if you just wanted to revisit some of the topics that we're covering, then you'll always have access to that here. Also, same thing for our other programs. So our DYTI programs, there's also an award management piece here. And the webinar will be posted, as well as for SBDF awards too. So in addition to program-specific documentation and resources, there's a lot of general resources that are available too, such as frequently asked questions, some basic videos. So really, if you have a question about anything as you are going through and as you're utilizing Amplifund to manage your award, then you'll be able to most likely find that here on the opportunity.nebraska.gov/Amplifund webpage. This is a great place for resources for any awards you're managing. And I will also mention that for most of everyone that's on the call today, awards are already in Amplifund, but for some of us, you may find that your award's not there yet. It will be in, and it will be available to you by the beginning of June. All right, so we're going to revisit this page again. I can promise you that, but let's get started by actually going through Amplifund here. So, you'll see that I'm logged into my Amplifund account. I will mention that this is a demo account, so this isn't anybody's real information that we're looking at here today. This is just an account that we're going to be using to go through and walk through what the different functionality looks like and how we can leverage Amplifund for our award management needs. So the first thing that I want to draw everyone's attention to is some of that navigation that I had mentioned in the PowerPoint presentation, right? When you first log into your ne.amplifund.com and type in your username and enter in your password, this is the page that you're going to see here, where you'll have your big calendar. It's going to have any specific items that are assigned to you, in addition to your navigation points. So this is that left navigation menu that I was referencing earlier. This is going to be your main source of navigation, and this stays with you on every page. So if you need to access your grants, then you'll go to this grant management section to get to your grants. Other key areas that we'll be utilizing today and that I'll be showing you is the administration section, which is where you're going to be able to create other users. So for the purposes of today's presentation and everything that we want to look at today, the main pieces of navigation, the main areas we're going to be looking at is to view our grants in this grant management section and to create users and view our list of users in this administration section. And I will mention this stays with us on every page, and you can collapse the menu. So if you want to see, for example, a larger view of your calendar, then you can click that little arrow and it'll hide the menu while maintaining the main pieces, the main buttons here for navigation. Other options that you're going to have here, you're going to have your user drop-down menu, which I just mentioned. So this is going to show your name, and here you'll be able to access your specific information. You'll be able to edit and view your account information, change your password. These are some of the main items that you'll be utilizing this section for here. Also, if you are a new award recipient and you've used Amplifund before, but only used it for the applicant portal, and maybe you have other applications or you want to view that applicant portal, you'll always be able to access that applicant portal by clicking here under your name and then going to applicant portal. So any previous applications that you've already submitted or any existing applications that you're working on for other programs, you'll be able to locate there in that user drop-down menu. And also the third piece of navigation that I talked a little bit about on the PowerPoint presentation is this icon toolbar here in the top right-hand corner. So this icon toolbar features a number of buttons and actions that you can take, again, depending on what page that you're on. So we're going to look at this in the context of being able to create items, being able to edit items. Those are the types of actions that you'll be able to take here in this icon toolbar. And as you're kind of looking for an action to take, if you know you need to do something, but you're not 100% clear on what these icons mean or what they represent, you can always hover your mouse over the icon and then it'll tell you exactly what the icon does. So if I wasn't clear that this is a printer or an image of a printer, I can hover my mouse over it and it tells me this is how I print the page. So please feel free to take advantage of that in terms of identifying, what the icons do and how you can utilize all the different icons. So now that we've taken a look at some of the navigation, I do want to talk a little bit about, once you're in your organization's Amplifund account, and you may want to add or identify additional users or additional individuals that you need to be added into your Amplifund account in order to manage your award. So if I go into the administration section here, and if I go to system security, then I see I have an area called users. So as soon as I go here, this is going to allow me to see a list of all individuals that have access into my Amplifund account. So the first thing that I want to do when I go here is I want to take a look at this users list, and I want to take a look and see and make sure that all of the right people have access, and that not only do they have access, but if there's somebody here that I know needs to access Amplifund that's not listed, I want to make sure that that person gets listed and gets invited into the system. So your user list will show any individual that already has access into Amplifund. If we need to add additional individuals into your Amplifund account, then we need to add a new user. The process for adding a new user is going in to the top right-hand corner here and clicking on the plus sign. So I mentioned this icon toolbar here at the top is going to be very useful to us in terms of taking action on different screens in different parts of the system. So already I can see if I need to add a new user, this plus sign is here. This is going to take me to the page that allows me to add in a new user. So I click on that plus sign and it brings me to my create user page. So here I'm able to create this user, and this is where we start adding people from our organization into Amplifund. The first thing that I'm going to see here are some email options for the user that I'm creating. So one of the nice tools about Amplifund is that it does send individuals reminders. There is an element of automatic notifications that get provided and that get sent based on being assigned to different grants and based on security role. So here you'll have the ability to indicate if you want your user to be able to receive emails from Amplifund on days that their notifications are scheduled to be sent, or if you just want users to receive an email at the beginning of the week that has all Amplifund notifications for the week. So again, the subscribe to daily email options just means that if I'm scheduled to receive a reminder on May 26th, then I will get one on May 26th. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get spammed or I'm going to get an email every day just because I'm subscribed to daily emails, just on the days that you have something scheduled to be sent to you. And then the weekly email means that, I'll see at the beginning of the week that I have actions due later in the week. So it's one email with all the notifications per week. Another option here is going to be applicant portal access. I had mentioned previously that in your user drop-down menu here, you're able to view your applicant portal and you're able to see where you have all of your applications submitted or any existing application that you're working on. So as you're creating a new user here, you can choose, do I want this new user to have access into our applicant portal? Do I want this new user to have access to see any previous or existing applications that I'm working on? If the answer is yes, check the box, provide the user with applicant portal access. If the answer is no, then leave the box unchecked. The next section here is where you're deciding what role the user should have. And I will mention that for internal users, probably the easiest way to go is the all-encompassing organizational admin role, especially if you only have one award and you don't mind having providing this person with visibility and access into all areas of that award, then I would go ahead and I would make sure that they have the ability to access their award through this user role. When it comes to external users, we typically recommend a different security role, which is the department user no salary role. We can talk a little bit about external users here in a second, but then there's also the executive user security role, which basically means that somebody can log in and view everything, but they can't edit anything. So if you wanted to provide somebody with read-only access, then they would be assigned the executive security role. When it comes to creating a user, there are a lot of fields here that you can create on behalf of the person that you're adding into your organization. You see, we have first name, last name, title, we have the address fields. But in terms of actually getting somebody created, there are only 3 required fields that need to be populated here. We have first name, last name, and email address. So when I'm adding in a user, I need to make sure that I at least have that person's first name, last name, and their email address. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a user. I'm going to type in their first name, last name, and then here I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to put in the email address. There are a lot of other fields that I can populate here. I can put in the person's title. But again, these are optional fields. Address line 1. These are not fields that are required in order for you to actually create and add the user. Only fields that are required here are first name, last name, and email address. When you're ready to create the user, when you have all of the information populated here, go ahead and click on the create button. If you're trying to add an external user and it tells you that their email is already being used, maybe you have a third party or a different group that's managing your award, there's a chance that they're already added as a user somewhere else. Please feel free to contact your program manager and they'll walk you through the process of getting that external user added. So when you enter this information, it'll tell you if the email is already being used and if the user's already added somewhere else. So feel free to go ahead and to check that out as you click on create. I will mention here that just because I've actually created this person, it doesn't mean that they automatically have access into Amplifund. There's a second step that's required to actually invite them into the system. And that is literally an invitation step. So if I wanted to go ahead And if I wanted to actually add in and invite my user into the system, then I will go in the top right-hand corner and see that there's a little envelope icon here. This is what's going to allow me to send my invitation to my user. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see, I'm going to go ahead and click this. And here under send invitation, I get this message that says, are you sure you want to send an invitation to this user? So I'm going to go ahead and click the send invitation button. And that will send an email to this email address here that allows this person to go through and put in their email and create a password to log into Amplify. So again, remember, the user creation just creates the user. It doesn't automatically give this person access. When you're ready to provide them with access, go ahead and find the envelope icon here and click send invitation in the top right-hand corner. To see a list of all your users, again, it's in the administration, system security, and users section. So I'm going to go back there and I'm going to click here. And now I can see this is our new user that we've added. And I can see here a couple of details that are really important. So for each of your users, you'll be able to see, have you sent them an invitation, number one, and number two, you'll be able to see, have they logged in? So this will show you if you send people invitations and you want to check in or you want to see if they've actually been able to access the system, then this administration, system security, and users section is a good way to do that. Also, if you're going here and you're realizing, oh, wait a minute, I did not send somebody an invitation. Anytime you see this envelope icon next to somebody's name, it's just another way to send an email invitation. I will mention that when they receive this email to log in, there's a link that they can click to create their password to get logged in. That link is active for 72 hours. So if you send them the invitation and they don't try to log in until next week, then the chances are that link will not work and that they'll need a new invitation sent to them. If that's the case, again, either click into their user profile and send them an invitation in that icon toolbar, or you can go ahead and you can send the invitation here. Or if you have a number of users that you need to send their invitations to, you can also send the invitations in bulk by clicking on the envelope icon from this screen. And here, this is going to list all of your users. You can select which ones you need to send invitations to. Click on the envelope icon. And then that's how you'll send invitations to all three. So once you have all of those users added and you have them invited into the system, you'll be able to see here, have they been sent an invitation? Have they logged in? So again, the process of creating users is administration, system security, and users. Clicking on the plus sign to add in new users, and then adding in that user and making sure that they are invited. And I will also mention, we talked a lot in the beginning about the support options that are available to you. There are definitely support materials available on that opportunity.nebraska.gov website that walk you through the user creation process. So now that we've looked at how we can create users, let's go ahead and actually access one of our grants and talk a little bit about how to view your grant details, and then also how to assign somebody as the grant manager for your grant. So I'm going to go to this grant management section right here, and I'm going to click on grants. And this is how we're going to navigate to our grants page. Once we click on our grants page, this is going to provide us with a list of all the grants that we're currently managing. You may have one, you may have multiple, but you'll be able to see the name of your grant and the awarded amounts. So the idea here is that you'll be able to easily identify which grant you're looking at, especially if you have several. Another field that's going to be really important for you in terms of identifying which is your grant is everybody has a contract or an award number. And you're able to see that by clicking on the drop down menu here, going to columns, and then you can find with the columns your award identification number here, and you can get that added. You'll see there's a lot of different fields that you'll be able to look at from this view. Now, if you want to actually just go in and look at your specific grant, go ahead and click on your grant name. And this is the grant that we're going to look at today and use as an example. So I'm going to click on the name of my grant, and this is going to show me a lot of details. It's going to show me the name of my grant. It's going to show me the name of my organization. And then there are a lot of other fields here that I'm going to be able to see where it's representing any of my expenses that I have. Again, if this is your first time, then the likelihood of you having expenses is if this is a brand new grant, then you probably won't have anything here. If this is an already active award, what we've done is we've input all of your information to date on these awards so that you're able to manage them. So if this is an award that you've been managing for a year or over a year, then the information and the expense detail should be in already. As you're scrolling down, you'll be able to see a lot of different award details here. So you'll have a couple of individuals that are listed here, responsible person and grant manager. These are individuals from Nebraska DED that are in charge of managing your grant. So the expectation for you here is you should see some familiar names. Your program manager will be listed here as responsible person or grant manager. Here on the recipient grant manager, this is a field for you to be able to add and identify who within your organization is the grant manager. And I'll just get to that here in a little bit. We're going to talk about how to add in and identify who the grant manager is. Just a couple of other things I wanted to point out first is here you'll have your award identification number. This award identification number should look familiar to you. This will be your contract number or whatever identifying number that DED has assigned to you and assigned to your award. Every award has one of these. So this award identification number, again, should be very familiar to you. And then key dates for your grant will be located here: awarded date, start date, and end date, including a projected closeout date. If you scroll down, you'll see the total awarded amount that you have, any cash match requirements that you have as well, and the total of the two. And then there's record status of enabled, but here really it's important to see some of the basic details in terms of the name of your grant, who's responsible for it from the DED side, your award identification number, your key dates, and your total awarded amount and any matching requirement amounts. So now that we're here and we're looking at this grant, I had mentioned that one of the tasks that you have to complete here is to assign a recipient grant manager. So basically, this is who from your own organization is going to be responsible for this grant. In order to actually assign this person, I will mention that this person has to be listed as a user in your account. So remember how when I was in the administration, system security and users section, and we looked at a list of all of those individuals. Those individuals that are listed there can be added as the recipient grant manager. If you want to add in, or if you want to indicate that somebody is the grant manager and they have not been created as a user, make sure you go back to this users page and create them first. Then you'll be able to add them in as the recipient grant manager. So in order to actually add somebody as recipient grant manager, you have to edit this page. And the way that you edit it is by going to the top right-hand corner and clicking on the pencil icon to edit the page. And if you weren't sure, and if you don't remember that that pencil icon is what gets you into edit mode, then again, just hover your mouse over the icons and they tell you exactly, what it does. So here, as I'm looking at my recipient grant manager field, I want to change this. So if I click this little drop-down menu, this is going to show me that list of individuals that I already have added as users. Note here, I can't just, type in my name and be able to add that in accordingly. I have to choose somebody from this list. So again, making sure that we're going into administration, system security, users, and adding our users in order for us to be able to then identify them as the grant manager. So I just added Mr. Henry here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select him, and I want John Henry to be my grant manager. Now, what does this mean from an Amplifund perspective of somebody that's the grant manager? First of all, it identifies to your program manager at DED, who's the responsible party, who's the grant manager for this award. But also it's important because, as I mentioned before, Amplifund comes with a series of automatic notifications when items get submitted. Your program managers receive notifications that you've submitted items. When they are approving and they're rejecting your reports or your reimbursement requests, this recipient grant manager is the person that receives an email notification that those reports have been either approved or rejected. So when you're choosing a recipient grant manager, make sure that you choose the right person, not only just from identifying responsibility point of view, but also from the point of view that this person will receive all automatic communication from Amplifund and from Nebraska DED. Once you've identified who your grant manager is, go ahead and click on the save icon. And this will save your changes. So now I can scroll down and I can see that I've successfully added John Henry here as my recipient grant manager. So that means that not only can my program manager at DED see that Mr. Henry is the responsible person, but that also means that Mr. Henry will receive the automatic notifications that come with any approval or rejection of items that may occur. So once you access your grant by going to grant management, grants, looking at the specific award details, and looking at who your grant managers are, and then identifying who from your organization is going to be a grant manager, there are other tools, there are other items that you can leverage Amplifund for in viewing this information. So one place that's going to be particularly important to access information is in this tools drop-down menu here at the top. This tools drop-down menu features a few key items that are going to be important to you as you're managing your grant. So one thing that you'll note here is you have a tasks section. One thing that Amplifund allows you and your DED program managers to do is to view tasks, to indicate the tasks are complete, and to generally just keep track of any grant-related tasks that you may have. So when I click into this tasks section here, I see that I have a couple of tasks that are assigned to me. I can create new tasks, but mostly you'll be leveraging this section here to view any tasks that DED is pushing down to you, that depending on the program that you're managing, this is where you would see those tasks. You'll also be able to click the check mark and indicate that tasks are completed once you've actually completed some of these tasks. So like here, for example, I have a task set to me to download my contract. So once I do that, I can come here and I can check the box and it says, are you sure you want to mark the task as complete? And once I've actually completed this task, I can go ahead and I can say, mark the task as complete. And also your program manager at DED will be able to see that you've marked the task as complete. So your task section is going to be a main area that you'll be drawn to in terms of having to update information or present information to your program managers. In addition to tasks, there's also a documents folder. So you have the documents folder, which allows you to manage documents on two different levels. Here within this documents folder, you can store and save any documents that you want to store and save internally, or you can upload and you can share documents with your program managers at DED. So you'll see here that when I go into the documents folder, I have this public folder right here. This public folder exists to share between you and DED. So anything that you'll see here, you may see documents that get created and that are shared with you by DED, that they'll be able to upload documents here into this space. And then also, if there's any documents that you're required to upload for them, you'll be able to click the upload documents button and you'll be able to choose a file and upload documents into this section here as well. So it's important to note that as you're going through and if you want to make documents available to anybody, that you click that upload button and select the document, go ahead and click on upload, and then that document here is available. And also, once you upload it into this public folder, your program reps at DED can view the document as well. I'm going to go back to the general folder here. If you need to store any documents internally, or if you want to save things and you don't want to make them visible to DED, then make sure that you're just storing them outside of this public folder. So just by going to the general documents folder, and you can either upload a new document, just like we did before, or you can also create a new folder. So if I go into the top right-hand corner and I click on the plus sign, and I want to make sure that I have a folder for internal organization docs, I create my new folder. And anything that I uploaded here is going to be visible only to my internal organization. So again, remembering when you're in the documents folder here, only going in and only utilizing the public folder for anything that you need to view from DED, or uploading anything that you want them to see from you. You also have a documents folder here in your left navigation menu, and you can get right to your folder that way too. So You can click on documents. That'll show you a list of all your grants. And if you wanted to go back and access those document folders, then you can go ahead and click on the grant that you want, and it'll take you right to those documents. Now, I want to go back to our grant, and I want to cover one last thing where I'm going to go, in order to navigate back to my grant, I'm going to click on this grant management section and click on grants. And this is the same process in terms of accessing my grant. I'm going to click on grants. I'm going to click on the name of my grant to actually access the details of the award. And I want to draw our attention here to this custom tab. Now, I did mention previously that when it comes to your W-9 and your ACH form, if you need to update information or if any information here has changed since the last time you've updated this and provided it, then you'll have to add in a new one. So in order to do that, you'll again click on that custom tab. You'll click on the W-9 and ACH enrollment form here. And if you need to add a new form, or if you need to update any information here, then you will be able to do that. Again, this is not a required step. It's only if you need to update this with new information. So as I go here and I look at my existing ACH enrollment form, I can either edit my existing form to make changes, or I can click on the plus sign here so I can add my W-9 and ACH enrollment form. What you'll see here is you'll see the ability to access via a link the PDF that you need to be submitted. So you can click here and this will take you to that ACH and W-9 form. Here, you'll be able to see the contract number, or you'll see a field where you can enter the contract number so that it's clear, which grant you're actually entering this for. And then you'll be able to put in your name here. And you'll be able to add in your new W-9 or ACH enrollment form by uploading it here and indicating the date that it's been uploaded. So again, just make sure that if you do need to make any changes to your existing W-9 and ACH that you've submitted, that you're adding in a new record here like this and not editing any previous record. So go ahead and upload the document and click on create. And that is how you can add in your new W-9 and ACH enrollment form. So in terms of the actions to complete an Amplifund, we focused a lot today on the different actions that we take when we first log in. Primarily, we focused on navigation, utilizing your left navigation menu to access the various places within Amplifund. Your user drop-down menu here, and your icon toolbar here in the top right-hand corner as well. We talked about creating a user, which is in the administration, system security, and users section, where you can go ahead and you can add new users accordingly. And then managing your grant, which takes place in the grant management grants section, where you'll see a list of all grants that you have. Click on the name of your grant that you're looking to edit or that you're looking to add on to. Viewing your grant details, clicking on the pencil icon to edit this page and add in your recipient grant manager, locating your tasks and your documents in the tools drop-down menu, and then also adding in a new W-9 and ACH enrollment form if changes need to be made to the existing form that you have on file. So these were the key pieces of award management that we went through today. In addition, there is the opportunity.nebraska.gov website, which walks us through the different pieces of functionality and provides us with a lot of how-tos in terms of how to accomplish a lot of the items that we looked at in the system today. So at this point, we've gotten through our agenda items. I'm going to take a brief pause. We're going to review any questions that have come in. Also, if you've been holding questions or if you have any questions, feel free to utilize the Zoom chat feature and get those submitted to us right now. So I'll hold the line for a few minutes here, review any questions that have come in, and then also if you have any questions and you want to submit those now, please feel free to go ahead and use that chat feature and submit your questions. One question that we had and one item that came up is about support options. So I did mention that on the opportunity.nebraska.gov webpage, there's a lot of award specific information here. So this is where you'll find information that's specific to how to manage your program, depending on if you're a BIA recipient, a DYTI recipient, or SBDF. Also, you can get help from the Amplifund support team. So if you have an Amplifund specific question, if you're in an area and you get a message that you're not familiar with, or you forget how to do something, you forgot how to add a user, and you want to reach out to the Amplifund support team, you do have access to Amplifund's customer success team. So if you go into the top right-hand corner, you'll notice that there's a help and support icon. If you click on the help and support icon, then you'll have two options for support, which is this link here that takes you to the Amplifund support site, which has a lot of just general Amplifund user guides and videos. Again, everything that you're going to find on the opportunity.nebraska.gov website are specific to the programs that DED has. So they'll be more specific with information. Here, this is just kind of some general Amplifund help. Also, if you have a specific question, you can reach out to our customer support team via a support ticket. You'll see that the bottom half of this window is already half populated with your name and your email address. Just type in the user, or I'm sorry, the subject of what your question is. Provide a description of your question or of the area that you need help with. If you have screenshots, maybe you're getting a message you don't understand or that you need further assistance with, you can attach documents here. So you can attach a screenshot to provide to our customer support team, and our customer support team will respond to you. And our customer support hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. in addition to the support to the Amplifund support site, in addition to the Nebraska support site as well, I will also mention that this PowerPoint presentation from today and the recording of today's training will also be made available to you after the fact. So you'll have access to this recording as well. All right, so there are no additional questions. I did just want to remind everybody that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time will be part 2 of the award management session, where we'll be walking through a lot of the finance specific elements of managing your award. So please be sure to join for that session, where again, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, we'll be taking a deep dive into how to manage the financial aspects of your award and submit your reimbursement requests. And I'll also remind everyone, opportunity.nebraska.gov/Amplifund for the help pages, as well as logging into Amplifund is ne.amplifund.com. If you have any questions, just feel free to submit a support ticket or to reach out to your program managers. And I appreciate everyone's time today. And I look forward to seeing you during tomorrow's session at 1 p.m. Central Time. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.